Hello, my name is Tatiana and I'm a product owner at VirtoSoftware. My work is to make our software better for you and better fit your needs. And today we're going to talk about gaining more value from Microsoft software for educational organizations. So let's start. I will tell you who we are and what we do. I just have to tell that. Then I'll tell you the challenges of educational organizations as I see them. I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you tell me it either in the chat or in the email, and we'll find something that fits your specific needs. And then we'll have a product demo. VirtoSoftware is not a startup. We are quite a long time on the market, and many huge customers, huge international corporations use our software. And by the way, many institutions, many educational organizations use us as well already. VirtoSoftware is a gold certified independent software vendor, like gold certified ISV. We have 100% of our developers certified by Microsoft. And we have huge number of customers worldwide, and probably the most important thing is we are very much focused on our support, because we believe that one of the most important thing that for B2B is the support experience. So every employee is on the support front line. You can meet me there, you can meet our developers, and this helps us to understand the real situation, be very close to our customers. And as a result, we have quite high customer satisfaction, and I believe 93 is really high. And most of our support cases fix it within 2 days. Then I have a top 3 for you. You always can remember 3 things, right? First, we maximize your investment into Microsoft. It means we're using the Microsoft platform and its capabilities, and then we just bridge the difference between Microsoft platform and your specific scenarios and your specific needs. Second, and because of that, we're not very expensive. Second is we create the best user experience possible. You cannot create just everything when you work on the platform, like Office 365 and SharePoint, but you can focus on the best user experience that's possible, and this is what we do. Then we have the third probably focus is our software is very flexible, and we allow you to use it for numerous scenarios. It works from the box, no worries, but if you want to, you can tune it pretty thin, and it will be tied to your user scenario and what you think is right for you. And this is very important. Now about the security. We build on top of SharePoint Server and SharePoint Online, so our security is pretty much guaranteed by Microsoft. We do not store your data on our site. It's stored on Office 365 and on SharePoint, so it's kind of guaranteed because Microsoft is, well, they just can't afford any security breaches. Our applications pass security verifications on Store, Microsoft Store, and we publish it there, and we have pretty high ratings. And this is important because some companies, they skip that step, and well, we care for our customers enough to not do that. Like, we publish our apps on Microsoft Store, and then the only thing that we store from your personal data is your email. And this is because we need to know that you are who you are, because we need to know that you have a license. We can remove your email from our base, but then we will not be able to tell that you have a license, so this service will be discontinued for you. But still we can do that. Virto Platform is around 50 applications. We have many applications and we separate them, like we look at them into 4 pillars, like collaboration, work management, automation, and administration. Basically, all our software is a building blocks. You can easily merge them and use them in the same ecosystem, looking and using the same data, looking at the same SharePoint list and using the same data. And this way they're seamlessly synchronized between the applications. And it allows you to create very flexible systems. Our applications are present on 3 platforms: SharePoint, Office 365, and Microsoft Teams. SharePoint has the most applications. SharePoint platform, SharePoint on-premise. Office 365 has the most important, the key applications, and some applications that we have for SharePoint on-premise, you don't need them for Office 365. This is because Microsoft develops Office 365 and invests a lot of insights and funds into resources into that. We also have 3 applications at the moment for Microsoft Teams, and this is one of the directions we will invest into further, because we believe that Microsoft Teams is very useful and easy to use platform, and we have seen that our customers started using Teams more and more during the pandemics. And now we go into the challenges as I see them. For me, educational organizations are pretty much just a little country. You might have many buildings under control, many smaller organizations, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of students, hundreds or maybe even thousands of teachers, and a lot of people who cannot be classified as teachers but still work in the university. You run numerous programs, certification, you run partnerships, and this is, I can only describe it by its little country. You need to have multiple processes, you need to meet multiple needs, you need to do it self-service, and you prefer it to be, well, cost efficient, right? Everyone wants it cost efficient, but educational organizations, you have, well, it's even more important for you, my opinion. Then there are 2 target audiences that you have that are totally different. It's teachers and the students, and they're not just 2 different audiences. They cannot have the same permissions. They cannot have the same level of access. They need totally different things from the university, from the educational institution. With all that chaos, you still need to keep it under control. And right now I'll tell you and we'll try to show you how VirtoSoftware can help you do that. For these demonstrations, I have set up something that I call Department of Natural Science. It might be looking just off for you, because I was just composing things with the purpose of highlighting some specific capabilities. And what I know in educational organizations you do a lot is you manage calendar and manage the schedule. And for that, so one of the best applications is our calendar app. First of all, you can publish it on Office 365, and then you can overlay and categorize multiple user calendars, and like these calendars can be a SharePoint list from the start. Like it can be a SharePoint list, it might be an Exchange calendar, it might be an iCal, and you overlay it and you display it in the way you want it, and you can display just a specific categories. And this way is going to be pretty useful and easy to use calendar for you. And this one is just a simple demo. It's probably just 3 or 4 calendars overlaid, but I do not need more. And it has colored categories, and you can see what it means for every calendar, and you can set your own coloring just up to your needs. I do not know, I do not like have real processes behind, so you can imagine what you can do with that. In this calendar, SharePoint task items are displayed as calendar items, and you can add them into your calendar easily, your own calendar. So you see this little button in the top left corner, oh, I'm sorry, bottom left corner, and you just press it and it's getting added to your calendar. This is the first and the classic view of our calendar. And the second and more recent view is the mini calendar. It is exactly the same application, it uses exactly the same data and the lists, but it displayed in a brief view, and it displays your daily plan. Like I can see that the events that are scheduled for yesterday, for tomorrow, and this is one day overview. It is something that's very useful if you want to see what is going on in the calendar just today and what are the next classes and meetings you have. I can tell you just a little bit more how the Virto calendar is set up. For that, I'm going to the application and I'm going to tune it up. There are two things that you will need to know. First is you have the data sources. This is a source of your data. It's normally a SharePoint data source and is configured by you in a special way, in a way you want it to be displayed in the calendar. So you might want to use just a specific calendar view, like the task list view, and it will be only extracting, the calendar will only be extracting the view you selected. And then you can select many calendars, multiple calendars to create your calendar. For example, here is a marketing campaigns calendar, and you see I have just one SharePoint data source, but then I can add Exchange calendars, my own calendars, my group calendars, events from public folders, and I can also add the iCals, like internet calendars, any calendar that you can export as an iCal can be displayed here. So if you have some teachers or some trainers outside of your university and you want their schedule to be available from your calendar, you can totally do that. There is lots of settings. You can make it look and feel the way you prefer. Multi-day, month settings, year settings, task settings, everything is like at your feet. You can do it easily. And I can also show you how the data source configuration looks. It gets your URL, you select it, and then you have lots of settings, and you can decide categories, values, and you can sometimes you need just specific items, for example some categories, and you can create your categories and force people just to use them and display them in the calendar on the web page. Then we have permissions, and we we use the Office 365 permissions first of all, and you have some additional flexibility with that. For example, you can decide that you can only publish people only can publish calendars within the site where the content was created. But beside that, if a user has a permission to see a calendar, he will see the calendar. If he or she has permission to see the specific Exchange calendar or SharePoint list, they will see it. If they do not, they will not be able to see it. If you look at your own calendar in the calendar view, like if you have it added and you look at it into it here, you'll have a lot of details. You'll see a lot of things that other people will not see at all. Just because you have the maximum permissions for your own calendar. So do not be afraid if you see a private meeting here, it's just seen to you. Then, just the same calendar can be available in your teams. For example, I have a marketing teams, and I have calendar set up in Virto calendar, and then I added it to my teams, and it's available for everyone. This is specifically especially good with group calendars and with training calendars, something that many people need to see. And here the interface is totally the same. To have the possibility to add this calendar as a tab, you need to install a separate Teams application that's called Virto Calendar, but it's covered under the same license. So you pay for one Virto Calendar license and you have 3 applications attached to it. It's application for like classic like normal Virto Calendar. It works on the modern interface as well. Then you'll have mini calendar and you'll have Teams applications in the Teams. Okay, let's go further. I do not know if you need to use Kanban boards a lot, but if you need to manage some processes, if you need to show the status of some processes, it's a good thing to use. And I have a board set up for you, but this board is just an example. And I'm using this board, I'm showing this board just to show you the main thing, and it's called charts. Charts, they are connected to the board, and they can show you different slices of information. You can see I have different charts available. I can export them, and I can easily create numerous reports with it. For example, I can select not the all tasks, but only tasks created last month, and I want to see work. And you see, I can just the chart is updated, and I can download it as PNG and use it in my reporting. Pretty much the same thing exists for the members. I can select different dates. I can decide on what I want to see and then export it. I can deselect some specific categories, like for example, I want to remove the completed status from the chart, and here we go. Then we have a completion chart. This is an interesting thing. If you want to show that all your tasks are getting completed in a due date or earlier, you can use this chart. It only shows the charts it only displays the tasks with that have a due date. If you do not have a due date, the task will not be in this chart. And you can also export the data into CSV and see what's wrong with specific tasks. We also have a burn down, and every chart you have, you can apply filters to that. For example, you can decide that you only want to see charts for project 1. Here we go. You can select the dates and you will see the right, you will have the right charts for that project 1. You can decide that you only want to see the high priority tasks, and you'll have a full overview of those. And this is kind of very useful thing when you have a chart, when you have a Kanban, some process to take care of, and you need to report your status and your processes, so you can do this easily. And I have told you already that VirtoSoftware is very inexpensive, just because we're bridging the gap between Microsoft's Office 365 and your needs. Just the same Kanban board you have for your teams. And equally, you have the charts in it. The next, and this thing is one of my favorites. You probably want to send notifications and automated notifications, and you can totally do that with Virto Alerts. Virto Alerts is not famous, unfortunately, because you set it and then you forget it, and honestly, this is the perfect thing. And you can set two things with Virto Alerts. First is alert. So alert happens if anything happens with your task list. So if the new item get added into your list, so for example, a new request for the meeting, or maybe new request for the hardware, it's just raised by user, you'll get a notification about that, a customized mail. Then the second thing you can do with Virto Alert is a reminder. A reminder works with the same list, but it uses the dates and the data in the list to create newsletters, to create mails. And with reminders, you can create newsletters, and this is very interesting. So you can, for example, you might have several contracts in your SharePoint list, and they have expiration date. And with reminders, you can get a notification that the contract will be expired like 60 days before this expiration. I have a couple of things set for you. This is a content submission form, and I made it run every week, and every week my team and emails of this team are listed in a SharePoint list, and every week my team receives an email that has this content. So I'm asking them to submit their content into this form. I can decide that this mail is important, and I can see a preview. Yes, this mail is brief, but it does a job. And I have many options on how to send and when to send. I'm setting it to everyone, so I'm applying it to all the items. Or I might make it to use conditions, and the conditions are very flexible. I'm sending a weekly summary because I want this mail to be sent weekly, but I can also send a monthly summary, a daily summary, so I can send reminders every day, every week, every month, the way I want to. And the second thing is an alert, and this specific alert, it sends a mail to a project owner or the beneficiary or just person mentioned it in the task list, and it happens when the task is completed. So for example, if I'm requesting a new hardware, a new laptop, and I'm sending this request into the through the forms into your SharePoint list, when you move the tasks into completed stage, and you can do that in the Kanban board, I will get an automated mail that my task is completed. I can go and get a laptop in this place, and if you have to, you can attach pictures to this mail, and this will be attached automatically based on the task or the SharePoint list item attachments. It's a very interesting instrument of automation the processes. We also have something that allows you to automatically we also have something that allows you to create custom forms, something that SharePoint cannot do for you, but you still want it. This is called Virto Forms, and we have it installed. Virto Forms creates custom forms. For example, a new item, you just drag and drop the list items, and you can create different like that. I'm just dragging and dropping it, and you can apply different permissions. So if I want some things to be visible just for one group of users, only those group of users will see it. These forms are pretty easy. I'm not a programmer. I'm not I do not have a degree in MIT, but I can totally do it. So it's a very useful instrument if you want to collect some information. And then the latest addition. And at the moment, application very soon, I hope the next week, will be available, publicly available, and it will be available as an application for individuals, and it's called MakeSomeBreak. During the pandemics, we've learned about situation that in many universities, people have trouble planning breaks when they're doing remote work, because it feels normal that you only plan the classes, but when you plan in teams, you need to plan for breaks as well. And many corporate citizens, many people who work and do their work on the computer, they've ended up sitting in front of the laptop for 8 or 10 hours in a row, which is unhealthy. So we created an application that allows you to schedule your breaks automatically. And I have opened this application. At the moment, it adds a 15-minute break after any meeting that's longer than 30 minutes. I can make it 60. Let's see. Okay, you can see that this meeting is 1 hour long, and I have one suggestion. I can now add these breaks, plan them. They're green here, and you can see that they appeared in my Teams calendar here. This application is completely free, but it's individual. If you want to use it in a education as an education wide solution, please contact our sales. We'll gladly discuss that. And you can do that, for example, through this button, through supporting and feedback. What else you can do with the settings is to exclude events. For example, I am excluding all the English classes from the schedule search, or it might be a lunch, because you wouldn't want a 15-minute break after your lunch, right? Or maybe you would. But what I'm doing, I'm excluding English classes. So the demonstration is done. There are two things I want to remember after all. These packages, this software, I have shown many of those. You probably even do not remember the names, but these applications are available in packages. But you can talk about them. The demonstration part is over, and I want you to remember one thing in the end is these applications, you probably do not remember their names already, because I have shown many. These applications are available in packages, and in packages they are getting even more inexpensive. With that said, I am done. Thank you so much for your time. If you have questions, please ask me or refer to Virto's software sales. You see that on the screen. Thanks a lot. Please go ahead and ask your questions, and thank you for your time.